Okay, everybody, welcome back to another, I guess this would be part 2 of our texturing tutorial. As you can see, I finished up with all of these. As I was going through everything, I noticed there's a way easier way than selecting every vertice. You can just do the edge select and alt right click on each edge, hit W and align to the Y, just like I'm doing now. On my other computer, my home computer, I have better, there's some add-ons that I have that really speed this process up for me, which is why I'm kind of learning as I go. So anyway, I'm just, what did I press? What did I press? Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Q. I don't know what that does. Sorry. Blender is one of those programs that is just very vast, so there's large sections of the program that most people don't ever touch, and then there's other people that only use those pieces of the program and don't have anything to do with any of the other things. So anyway, alright, here we go. So I'm going to grab my UV island tool. I'm going to hit G and Y, and I'm just going to move that up just a hair, and I'm going to grab this one and move it over. Okay, and now I'm going to grab this and put it down here. So we're going to have two different textures for this. So I'm going to select everything, UVs, export UV layout, and then we go to textures. I didn't make a textures folder. Textures, and yeah, we'll make them 1000 by 24, fill opacity, that's all good. Export UV layout. Okay, that's the cap and the ring. Move those back over to the front layer. Select our label and move that over here. 1, Control 1 to go to the back view, and then I'm just going to select this right here, this seam, mark seam, select everything, Smart Unwrap, and cylindrical projection. Ooh, that's a bummer when that happens. Alright, let's just try unwrap and see what happens. Better. Alright, and we're just going to straighten it out just like we've straightened everything else out. Well, actually, let's try cylindrical. There we go. It's better. I like this the best. So let's rotate it 90. And then let's just straighten out all of these edges, all of the horizontal ones. So W and the Y. The reason that we're straightening these out is because we want this UV to kind of mimic the shape of the actual 3D mesh. Alright. Yeah, that should be good. And then I'm just gonna select it all, hit G, and just scale it down a little bit. And then UVs, export UV layout, textures. I'm gonna call this one. Oop, I just saved over. Okay. Select it all, export UV layout, textures, and I'm gonna call this bottle label. Alright, save it real quick. Let's pop over to Photoshop. Textures, you can see they're the same. This one I'm going to change the name to cap. Run over into Blender one more time. And head over and grab my cap mesh here. And export those UV layouts. Alright, so now let's go ahead and grab both of our texture layouts and let's throw them in there to Photoshop. Let's do this one first. So I'm going to start off with some text. I'm just going to add a new layer. And I'm going to say something like super good coffee, because we all know that the world runs on coffee these days. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add I want this to be a black label, so I'm going to say G, and I'm going to add a white background that I'm going to put my layout on top of, and then I'm just going to use the pen tool real quick and just outline very roughly my object and add a black background. Ooh, that's fun. And then the other thing I'm going to do is just grab this, delete layer mask. I don't know why there's layer mask, and Control I to invert it. That way I can see. Alright, so I have this text. What kind of font? Helvetica New. Sure. Let's use that. Centrify it. Make sure everything's spelled right. Make it nice and big. Now the next thing I'm going to do, just to speed things up, is I'm going to head over, sorry it's on my other monitor so you don't see what I'm doing here. I'm going to head over to the interwebs and I'm going to find a nutrition label. Almost. And the other thing I'm going to find is a coffee mug. Ooh. What happened? Nutrition label. Okay, there we go. And coffee mug graphic. So I'm going to save both of those images to my reference image folders, or my texture folder for this file. I don't really even know what these are for so much. I have here this. Since the label's black, I'm going to hit Control I to invert it, and then I'm going to say turn that from normal to multiply, Oh, I'm sorry. No. Yeah, we can just leave it at normal. And thank you. Add that there. And then we need a coffee mug. Here is a coffee mug. Because it's coffee. If my computer will open the image. Come on. There it is. So just a disclaimer, I don't own these images, and at least for this tutorial, I'm not monetizing or anything. I'm not making any money off of this. I'm honestly just trying to do this as quickly as I can. Alright, there's our coffee mug. Control I. Let's go ahead and flip the orientation. Okay. Now if I turn off, there you go. Turn that off. Now we've got some good looking labels. So I'm going to hit Control Shift S, and I'm going to save these as PNGs. I'm going to say label, but then add texture at the end. Click Save. And I'm just going to save this Photoshop file as well. Close it down. Okay, so now for the cap, one thing I need to do before I do the cap is figure out, is it the bottom part or the top part? That's my outside. So I'm just going to select these, and it's the top part. I can see that there. Okay, so I'm going to use the pen tool and just add, again, just add in, not such a black, let's add a little bit of gray, something like that. And now I'm going to take a, right here, I'm going to take a rectangle, and I'm going to change the fill color to even lighter gray. Oh no, yeah. No, I'm actually going to change it to white. So first things first, I'm just going to export this as a PNG. Cap, and then underscore texture. And then I'm going to add all these little bumps like this. Okay, I'm going to hit V, and I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to duplicate these two, and I'm going to duplicate these 4, and then these 8, and I'm going to just continually duplicate until I have reached the other side. Should be this one. Yep. And then just delete this one, this one, this one. Alrighty. I'm going to toss those into a folder. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in another thing, but this one's going to be completely black. So now I just have a black and white image, and I'm going to make that a PNG and bottle cap, and then I'm just going to save this as bump. Save. Okay. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can close this. I'm gonna turn off my reference image. I don't need that anymore, for now at least. And let's go ahead and start adding our textures in. So I'm going to come over here, and first thing I'm going to do the glass, or the plastic of the bottle, I guess. So I'm going to change my render engine to Cycles Render, and then say new, and I'm going to change this to clear underscore plastic, and open up a node editor, and then change my view to material view. So clear plastic, we're going to hit Shift A and add a transparency node. We're going to pull out a Fresnel, F-R-E, Fresnel node. And a glossy node. Okay, so I've got my transparent, and then a mix node, M-I-X, mix shader. So I'm going to plug my transparent into the top shader, my glossy into the bottom, my Fresnel into the top, and then the shader into the surface. And that's clear plastic. I can see a preview of it. It's kind of like glass. Next, let's move our label back to the front here. Next, I'm going to say new, and I'm going to say label. I can't seem to spell label today. And I want my diffuse there. If you don't have the node wrangler turned on, I believe it's computer user preferences, and in add-ons, if you search node, okay, I have mine turned on. In this diffuse, select this diffuse node, hit Control T. That will give you all the things you need to add a texture, and then navigate to where your texture is. Textures, and we want the bottle cap. Open image. Ooh, wrong image. Bottle cap texture. Nope, I'm sorry, we're doing the wrong thing again. Label texture, there you go. See, it's a super good coffee. It's got coffee there, it's got some nutrition facts. It's a little wonky, but on the whole, not too bad. Now let's add search and a glossy, because there's some glossy reflectiveness, and search a mix shader, and add that. Turn our shader value down to maybe 0.1, and maybe turn our reflections down, maybe add a little more, 0.25, but make these a little darker. Okay. And last but not least, here on our cap, say new, I'm going to call this cap. Again, select my diffuse shader, Control T, open, and go to textures, bottle cap texture, open. You can see not a whole lot changes. It's just a little bit lighter gray than the black of our bottle. And then add in a mix shader, just like we've done before. Add in a glossy shader. Turn the FAC down to 0.1. Turn the roughness up to 0.5. Alright, now we're going to add in one more. We're going to add in a bump node, and then hit Control T and open our bump.png and add that to the displacement. I think one thing we should do is a RGB to black and white. Yes. What this does is it just converts, even though it's already black and white, it just converts the RGB values into black and white, just to help things out. Okay, now we have a good looking bottle. Since our cap and our bottle are two different things, let's grab our cap and hit Control-Alt-Shift-C and say Origin to Geometry, and hit Control and up and G, rotate that, put it down here leaning up against our bottle. Ooh, we didn't add that in there. Clear plastic. Okay. Okay, you guys, that was this tutorial. We've finished adding a texture. We've done all of our shading. So in the next tutorial, we'll set up a lighting setup, and then we'll start rendering. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.